Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hamdan wa syukurillah amma ba'du. Hello everyone. My name is Muhammad and I'm the 7th semester in English Education Department of STKP Muhammadiyah. In this video, I would like to explain about the great chess magazine theory and correlation with humor or joke. And the purpose in this video or in this presentation to describing about the great magazine theory and to know principle of conversation by great magazine theory, and also to know correlation about the maxim theory and joke or humor. So check it out. Okay, before we are going to great maxim theory, as we know, pragmatics is the study of the practical aspects of human action and thought. And pragmatics is the study of the use of linguistic side, words, and sentences in actual situations. It looks beyond the literal meaning of an utterance and considers how meaning is constructed, as well as focusing on implying meanings. It considers language as an instrument of interaction. What people mean when they use a language and how we communicate and understand each other. And next, Grecian cooperative principle. Conversational influencer is a notion devised by Paul Grech in 1975. It looks at the relation between what people say and what they actually mean in a conversation. Grech developed four maxims of conversation, which describe what listeners assume a speech will be like. Implicature is defined as the implied meaning generated intentionally by the speaker. These means are often made covertly, hidden using politeness strategies. So, this is example about the politeness theory. The first, Jahan, do you want to come to the pub? And answer the threat, I'm washing my hair. The philosopher Paul Grech proposed for conversational maxims that arise from the pragmatics of natural language. The Grecian maxims are a way to explain the link between entourage and what is understood from them. The maxims are based on his cooperative principle, which states, make your conversational contribution such as is required at the stage at which it occurs, by the accepted purpose or direction of the talk exchange in which you are engaged. And it's so called because listeners and speakers must speak cooperatively and mutually accept one another to be understood in a particular way. The principle describes how effective communication in conversation is achieved in common social situations and is further broken down into the four maxims of quality, quantity, relevance, and manner. Okay, the first, the maxim of quantity, giving only the necessary amount of information, not too much or too little. For example, where is the post office? And the answer, down the road about 50 meters past the second left. Versus, not far. And the second, the maxim of quality. The maxim of quality is only speaking the truth, not knowingly giving false information. For example, should I buy my son this new car? And answer, I don't know if that's such a good idea. His totally to car sign he got his license last year. Versus, no, he seemed like he'd be a bad driver. And the third, the maxim of relations. The maxim of relation being relevant to the current topic of conversation. For example, how are you doing in school? And answer, not well, actually. I'm failing to all my classes. Versus, what fine weather we are having lately. And the last, the maxim of manner, avoiding ambiguity or obscurity in your speech. For example, what do you think of the movie? And the answer, I like the creative storyline. The ending was really a surprise. Versus, it was interestingly done, sir. And the next, the concept of humor or the joke. Humor is something that is funny, that can be funny, or that can cause humor or joke. People who have a high sense of humor, namely, people who smile or laugh easily when they hear something humorous, are called humorous. In every society, there are expressions or humorous stories that can cause amusement or humor to the listeners. According to Goldstein and McG, 1972, humor appears first in the history of human civilization before the appearance of more complicated and complex psychiatric symptoms. All societies seem to use humor for various purposes, both implicit and explicit. Humor or jokes are aggressive behavior. In humor, there must be someone who is sacrificed, mocked, humiliated, or humiliated. By Sohari, 1989. From a psychological point of view, humor is great because of a kind of pressure depression in the human soul. Feelings of annoyance, anger, pride, or humiliation can lead to humor, according Yunus et al. And now, how to log. The reason how we are logged. The first, funny situation, smile, timing, appropriateness, vocalization, vowels, feel it, and whatever. And the last, why people log at certain event or section of comedy movies or stand-up comedy. Comedy allows a person to be anything without right or wrong. Someone who feels depressed usually takes the pressure off by watching a comedy show. Apart from being entertainment, comedy also has another side that is no less sharp. We often listen to comedic material that can be said as social criticism of society. Yes, comedy is often used as a medium for criticizing what we know as sarcasm, parody, and satire. And why do humans log? The positive and negatives of comedy are based on the reason the audience log. Not many comedies are based on trash jokes. Here are some theories that explain why someone log. The first, superiority theory. In the pre-modern era, comedy was seen as mere entertainment. In this theory, humans log at something because they consider themselves superior to the object they log at. And the second, liberation theory. This theory is more toward the psychological aspect. Someone logging is considered as a form of liberation from nervous feelings. Someone who is depressed can relieve stress with comedy and laughter. And the third theory of oddity. Comedy like this we often encounter in stand-up comedy comics. Humor comes when something feels odd and does not make sense. This humor is products through things that are not right, which are then broken by certain techniques. This theory is also often used in promoting comedy and social criticism.